Of all the gates of the walled city of Lahore, Bhati Gate, for me personally, is the most extraordinary because of its arts and literary quality. For me, walking through Bhati Gate, history really comes to life. This is where it happened, inside the Bhati Gate, where the father of Pakistani poetry, Allama Iqbal, wrote. And the singer Muhammad Rafi rose to fame. And today, philanthropy of the most generous proportion is devoted solely to the arts. This is the stuff dreams are made of. In the young artists there today, this is the Bhati Gate.
Pakistan.
I love Pakistan.
I love England and so nice of you. You will come here. Which in the state in Pakistan?
Oxford. So I've been going inside the walled city of Lahore.
Yeah.
And everyone's been really great.
Well?
Very well. Everyone has given me lots of free food, free flowers, lots of smiles, lots of hugs, and everyone asking me, do you love Pakistan?
God will help us.
Inshallah.
I am a social worker.
Oh.
I am a social worker.
Oh, wonderful.
In this time, this government.
Oh, okay.
Then my leader name, Mia Muhammad Nawaz.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. I'm not doing any political parties, only just pure Pakistan.
Thank you,
Sir.
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Shukriya, shukriya. Khuda Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
This is MOLANA ROHI Street. He was named after the mosque as well as the street. MOLANA ROHI was the Farsi teacher of Allama Iqbal. He was a profound linguist, and that says a lot in the land of many languages. In the same land where Urdu originates, I myself was pleasantly surprised when traveling first to Pakistan to discover how many people in Pakistan speak English fluently.
I'm Kirsten. It's nice to meet you. MashaAllah.
Fakir Khana Museum is a small mansion. It houses some of the largest treasures in all of Asia. The Fakir family have lived in Lahore since the 18th century. This private family museum inside the Bhati Gate of the walled city is the largest private collection in South Asia, housing over 13,000 pieces of art. Thank you for having me as your guest.
Oh, you're most welcome, most welcome.
I'm really enjoying just sitting in here, to be honest. After sitting in Lahore traffic, this is luxurious.
I will tell you the history of my family, you know.
Okay.
My forefathers, they settled
And
in
this
Lahore.
is special because you're telling it to me on your birthday. Were you born in this house?
I was born in this house.
I can't believe that.
You know, I was
It's your
born
birthday.
in this
You were
museum.
born
I was raised
here, and
in
it's
the
your
museum.
birthday.
It's
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We are missing human connection, aren't we, in the modern world? We are sitting and telling stories and talking like this. It doesn't happen very often anymore.
Let me explain you this room. This room has a long history of Lahore preserved in this room, you know.
Wow.
You know, this room was supposed to have 12 doors in it. We used to have a literary evenings in these rooms.
You hear about that all over. Like Iqbal was just.
Allama Iqbal used to recite his poetry in this room.
Was it just the times back then were more focused on the arts? Or was it something unique to being inside the walled city? I mean, this is where travelers were drawn to from Samarkand, Bukhara,
We
Persia.
don't have, Christian, you got to understand, we don't have television in those days. We don't have radios in those days. We
No
don't have
Kardashians?
No, nothing else. Just interaction with the people. They come, you know, it's very important to talk about things. It's very important to understand each other's poetry and understand, you know, the conversation used to take place here. Everybody used to eat opium. They smoke opium.
Eat opium, or
Yes,
smoke opium.
Smoke opium.
Would people have smoked opium just openly? Like
Openly.
there was no stigma.
No stigma.
Yeah.
Jahangir used to take opium. He wrote in his biography, and he used to take 10 tolas of opium per day. That is a huge amount of taking opium. Then Noor Jahan cut her opium, wanted him to get sober. And they designed...
Storytelling was
Storytelling.
a really big thing, wasn't it?
Yes, storytellers were here. And they tell these stories from one day, they goes up to 365 days a week. The story never finishes. So these rooms are designed for those, you know. Can you see this balcony upstairs?
Yeah.
And this is specially designed balcony that the ladies of the family can sit on the balcony and watch these ceremonies. What are they going on?
What are some stories, real life stories, like romantic stories, tragic stories have happened within the walled city?
The romantic stories of Lahore are many romantic stories.
Okay, you have to tell me at least a few, one or two.
Gods. Mughal Emperor Humayun, actually he was running away from the king of Afghanistan, Sher Shah Suri, and he came to Lahore. He wanted to go to Iran. When he came to Lahore, he was living in Lahore Fort, and where he saw a beautiful young girl. Her name was Hamida Banu Begum. He fell in love with her. Hamida Banu Begum said, I don't want to marry him. He's running away from his country, and why should I marry him? So he stays for 3 months. He risks his life. He stays for 3 months. He requested Hamida Banu Begum. Then entire Mughal family requested her, and he got married in Lahore Fort. This is the first love at first sight with her. So Hamida Banu Begum gave birth to Akbar while traveling from here in Tata. It's so beautiful.
And what can you tell me about Kipling? And
Kipling
was he as loved by Lahore as he loved Lahore, by the Lahori people, as he loved Lahore?
You know,
Was it requited love?
One-sided love is no love, you know.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is this requited or unrequited?
Lahore loves him, and Kipling loves Lahore. You know, there's when Kipling came here, he made his portrait, self-portrait, and in that self-portrait, his mouth is open, and he's looking like this.
Like he's almost in awe.
Yeah, in awe.
I think I've done that myself, not with the self-portrait part, but I definitely have rounded some corners. The jaw-dropping.
The art historian says this is the Kipling when he sees about Lahore, he thinks about Lahore, and his mouth is open like this, and he loves it. So Kipling, he says again, you know, the Kipling is son of Lahore. Not only Kipling, there was Mr. Flatty. He was Italian traveler. He came here. He went to Dancing Girl, and he was in love with her. He never goes back. He asks the Britishers that, please give me some land, I want to make a hotel here. So he made a hotel here. That he never
left it.
He never left Lahore. He died here.
Really?
Yes.
And
but
is that hotel still around?
Still, his hotel is still named, it's Flatty's Hotel.
Ansari is the Director General to the Walled City. He very graciously agreed to personally guide me through the Walled City and the 13 gates. And Bhati Gate, what would you say is sort of the most interesting element of the Bhati Gate?
Bhati Gate, we call it as a Chelsea of Lahore, because so much of history and very renowned people. The poet of the East, our national poet, Allama Iqbal.
Yes.
He was from the Walled City. He had stayed there for a long time.
And Rumi passed through here, apparently.
Yeah,
Rumi.
that's right. So then the Fakir brothers who were rulers with the Ranjit Singh, the Sikh ruler,
Yeah.
they were his, wazirs, the ministers. Then you have Kardar, who was our first cricket captain, and they all lived in Bhati Gate. So Bhati Gate is very, very rich with such big names, and most of the old houses survive there. It's a more residential area, and we are going to take it up for rehabilitation.
Allama Iqbal represents how intellectual Pakistani people are. He is known as the father of Pakistan, mainly for his poetry. But Iqbal was not just a poet. He was a philosopher, a politician, an academic, and as a scholar educated in the times of British India, he was also a barrister. Iqbal, the father of Pakistan, was a keen promoter who envisioned a separate state for the Muslims of northern India and what later became Pakistan. He is also known as the poet of the East for his widespread Urdu literature. In 1923, Iqbal was knighted by King George V.
I'm sitting here in front of Allama Iqbal's house. So here inside of the Bhati Gate, Sir Allama Iqbal lived. And he wrote a fascinating book, which was a book to God in 1901. Between 1901 and 1905, he lived here in this house. I don't think it was quite as Mad Max crazy as it is right now. It was probably a little more serene, but he wrote a book that was addressed to God, asking God all kinds of questions. The second book he wrote, which was Shikwa, and the answer to Shikwa was Shikwa, and that was Iqbal's presumed answers from God to his own questions to God, almost playing God in a way. But Iqbal is sort of the national god of this country, and his poems are beautiful. So, for myself, a lover of poetry, I find it really overwhelming to be sitting on the front porch. Unfortunately, it's locked. So as close as I can get to Mr. Iqbal is this door.
Right here in Bhati Gate, the singer Muhammad Rafi once sang melodies that are still famous today. However, Rafi wasn't always a singer. This shop was actually a men's salon that Rafi ran with his brother after they moved to Lahore in 1935. Coming from humble means, it is here where Rafi's talent was discovered. He then ventured on to Mumbai, and from 1950 to 1970, his patriotic songs and sad lamentations to romance were the most sought after in all of the Hindi film industry.
In the walled city, of course, you have all this history and all these interesting things, but what's really fascinating me today is the normal life that goes on inside of the schools. So inside these walls, it's ordinary life for most of these people. These are all the school kids that have just got out of school. Assalamu alaikum. Are you school? Finished? Is it a good day today?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Shukriya. Khuda hafiz. It's just ordinary life for these people. They're simple, humble, and obviously the warmest, most generous people. Hello, hello. Walaikum assalam. Oh my God, they're so great. Assalamu alaikum.
The exotic birds market is just outside of Bhati Gate. And although birds are the closest thing to dinosaurs that we have, this market is not as old as the rest. It established only 15 years ago, but there are 38 shops.
So this was considered one of the biggest havelis in all of Lahore in the walled city, which is the traditional townhouses. Now this Havali has been turned into a school of the arts, and the owner of this Havali now has dedicated this brilliant Havali in the inner walled city of Lahore to education. I mean, it says so much about Pakistan that you don't realize how generous people are, how devoted they are to helping the poor, which is very much part of Islam, and that focus on education. And I'm seeing more and more over the last 20 years that I've been coming to this country, a greater emphasis on art again, which is hugely an aspect of the heritage of Pakistan, particularly in Lahore. My goodness, you look at the history and it's just full of artists. This is a place I would like to live. It's just so beautiful. It reminds me of Morocco with this sort of rial in the center of it. And I can imagine that life must have been really sweet. I love all the beautiful architecture, this sort of Asian, Indo-Turkic architecture that you see throughout here. And it's so pretty. And really, it does invite you to read. Look at this old photograph up there, like Maharajas. I mean, if this doesn't invite you to sit down and have a cup of tea and read a book, I don't know what does.
Afroza, the head of the NAOSH School of Arts, took me for a wonderful tour all throughout the Haveli, which is hosting free school for young artists who can't otherwise afford it. Inside the Bhati Gate, supporting students in arts and writing seems to be a mainstay.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters. Aapka kya hai? Urdu is no acha, nahi, sorry very much. But I think if you understand a little English, I today have learned about you, and I think it's fantastic. You women are amazing what you're doing. It's not easy with what you go through to come here and work like you're working. And these are beautiful machines. And I hope you all get a machine in your 6 months and make gorgeous clothes, because you're gorgeous. And I wish you the very best, inshallah, for your futures. I'm gonna give you a round of applause. I'm very impressed, very impressed. It's an amazing school. Thank you for letting me come today. Shukriya. Art weapons. Now this is the real warfare.
I was gonna say.
These are real weapons. Girls, I wish, inshallah, the very best of luck. Your incredible talent. And now that I've had a little hand at it, and I apologize forever that I have scarred this, but I hope you'll remember me fondly, that I enjoyed it. And I have enormous respect, because this is hard work. This is hard work. Okay, inshallah, all the best to you for your future. And I hope to see you again, visit you. And keep an eye for when this comes out. Thank you. Wish you all the best. All the best, sister. Shukran. Shukran.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank me.
Next
Thank
time,
you.
I assume that you will be our student in future.
Thank
and
you.
Next time you came here,
Oh, that's. I'd love to come and spend an afternoon.
if you like this activity,
I do.
you can draw something on that, maybe flower or alphabet.
flower. I will
and
try.
draw. And we will see this as your homework.
And I will leave it for you as well.
Okay.
Well, maybe not, because if it's really embarrassing, you won't want to put it up.
No, it's just.
This is intimidating, but I'm
like to-
highly flattered, and I accept the challenge actually. And
you
if
like
I
to
can
do
come,
something.
if it means that I get to sit and have tea with you in the
Yeah.
courtyard as well,
We have
that's
it.
an afternoon I look forward to. Thank you so much. So after that lovely introduction from Frisia about this beautiful Haveli and hearing about the family that was here, now I understand these 3 graves belong to the former owner, Sayyid Mudatar Ali, and his wife. And this would have been their guru in a way, their teacher, who's buried with them. And they're together forever and immortalized in a way in the physical world. And it's just so interesting because in the West, I would never bury my father in the back garden or my grandfather. It's just culturally unacceptable to do. But yet there's something really beautiful that hundreds of years, thousands of years later, they're still together. And there's something quite nice about that.
I struggle for the words to describe the transformation I feel from the time spent with the artists of the Bhati Gate. The history there has really hit home. Although I didn't smoke opium, I became a visionary with the stories that were told to me by Fakir Khana Museum, as now I see the Mughals in my head, as if before they had been fiction. It overwhelms me to think about the world from long ago that once existed here in the walled city. Walking out of the Bhati Gate, exhausted, I am realizing that the past here is very much an intrinsic part of the future for Pakistan.